How do you learn another language? Ideally, while having fun. Well, when I was at school, I had to learn a number of languages, and usually it went like this. I would have a few hours each week where I would be in a classroom, I would learn grammar, I would learn vocabulary, and then I'd sit a test. And well, at the end of it, would I learn to speak the language, or would I even be able to speak the language? Yeah, very slowly, but not particularly well. But what is the way in which you can learn a language almost effortlessly while having fun? Well, you can supplement the very strict classes with other ways, using the language in environments that you find interesting. So, for example, watching YouTube videos in the language, or watching films, putting on English subtitles, but then listening to the language and picking out individual words that you have heard in class, or grammar structures you've seen before. If you're into video games, you can play games in the language, or you can watch makeup tutorials in the language, or learn about motor racing in the language. It doesn't matter what it is, as long as it is something that you find interesting. And once you start using the language in that environment, you take a lot of the language in. You get used to how the language is spoken. You recognize elements of the language that you have learned before, and thereby reinforce what you have learned. And you're learning the language effortlessly. It doesn't feel like learning, it just feels like watching a movie. But you're still learning because you're picking out those things that you have experienced before. And that way, language learning can be fun, and it can then greatly enhance what you're doing in your language lessons. You sit an exam and suddenly you realize that you know so many more words than you'd known before, or you're able to speak the language better once you're in that country and you have to speak the language. Try it out for yourself, it's fun.